Karthik again. Today I welcome you everyone to listen the class on AWT framework. So straight away we go to the concept of AWT today. Before learning AWT, at first we should know the idea of CLI and GUI. What is called CLI and what is called GUI? We all are aware of that. CLI is called command line interface and GUI is called graphical user interface, and we all have knowledge that everyone are looking forward into working with the applications which are GUI based instead command line interface based, because GUI applications will allow the users to interact with the applications quite easier when compared to the command line interface applications, because command line interface applications are very tough to use and the user should have great knowledge to interact with applications. Rather, GUI based applications are very handy and they have a easier way of accessing the applications. Hence, in such applications, we have different kinds of Java APIs which works on GUI based applications. As I said that GUI based applications are the mechanism, or I can say GUI is a mechanism where the user will have a chance to enter the data in an economical and a straightforward manner. And also GUI is designed to allow the user who can choose any kind of, say, font, he can choose the style or size, etc. And these are very important mechanisms which creates the user to feel look and feel kind of environment when they interact with GUI applications. So straight away, what kind of GUI based applications does Java support? Java support two different kinds of mechanisms. One is it supports AWT and another one is it supports swings. So today we mostly focus on AWT. One is abstract window toolkit. It is a kind of framework which is used in Java to develop a look and feel kind of applications. So what is AWT? AWT is a kind of a package where we can collect different kinds of components which creates the user to interact with that components. So AWT is a kind of a bundle of components. So there comes a word called component. So component is nothing but an object with graphical representation that can be displayed on the screen to interact with the user. This is the main motive of say component. Component is an object of Java with graphical representation that can be used to display on the screen to interact with the users. And what kind of components does Java supports in AWT? There are different components. If you take example of Facebook, in Facebook you could be able to find different components, right? You can find components like a text field kind of component. You can find a button like login button. You can find a radio button, say a male and female kind of buttons. You can find a checkbox which shows you to select the date of birth. So on and so forth. These are all checkbox is something which you choose like a terms and conditions, and say choice which asks you to choose the date of birth, say date, month and year. These are the different components which creates the particular application look and feel. So these are called different components. All these components are bundled into an particular package, we call that package as AWT. And Java supports a package, we already have idea about that, java.awt.star. And coming to another important concept of AWT is something like a container. So container is a kind of a window which contains all these components. Yes, we know now what is a component, what are different kinds of components, and where to use the components and how to organize all these components is another important scenario, because organizing of these components is a very important task for a developer to create an application which is more interactive for the user. Hence, container is a kind of a window or a frame or it could be an applet, it could be a panel which creates an environment where user can interact, or an environment where components can be placed. Means I can say a container is an collection of different components which are placed on one place. Technically speaking, it's a kind of a window which contains all the components in an organized manner. So if you see the architecture of that particular thing, we can see like this. See, this is the architecture, which is a object. An object has a component. An object has a superclass. We all know object is superclass of all classes. It contains subclass called a component, and component has the children of all the different components. As I said, button, label, checkbox, choice, list. All these are different children of component. Even container is also a children of component, because without component a container cannot be created. So inside a container we get again two important classes. One is window and the one is panel. And all the things which we create in the panel are applets. We already seen applets earlier. So whatever applets you create, they are under the panel. Simply speaking, that panel will not have a border and a menu, and window will have a border, and frame has a border, and frame can have a menu. But like applets will not have any kind of border or menu. Hence, containers can be of two different types. One is window type of container and panel. These are the applets which are subclasses of panel, and frame is a subclass of window. So earlier classes we have dealt with panel type of classes. Mostly today we focus mainly on frame. Even the same components can be applied on applet too. Okay, so this is an overall architecture of say AWT. Object is superclass of all classes, as we all know that. Child is component. Under component we have different components, and all the components can be placed in a form of a container. Hence, container is a superclass of window and panel, and applet is an child class of a panel, and frame is child class of window. So this is something which we need to have a basic knowledge of what is an component and what is an container and what is an AWT. So if we go technically, we have to work on AWT straight away. So how to create a component, and how to add the component to the container, and how to apply events on that container, because we need to perform different kind of events on that container. So how can we work on all these things is we should need to have the API of Java. The API of Java which use abstract window toolkit is, we already said, java.awt.star, and to perform event handling I have to say java.awt.event.star. These two are the two different packages which we use mostly when we work on AWT. So straight away we go with an example to understand the concept. A simple example, we say that AWT demo dot Java. So unlike in the earlier programs, we use something which is an applet, and applet will have applet container separately, which is a panel. And today we just try to go with a different kind of approach, one that is a window type, because containers can be of two types. One is border and borderless. Borderless are applets, border is a window. Today we just try to write a program in a window. So to create that, we have to say something like class AWT demo. Like in the applets, we have different lifecycle methods like start, init, stop, destroy, paint. But here we write everything in a form of say a constructor and a main method. Instead of the init method in applet, we replace init method with an constructor. Okay, and instead of running the applet in an applet viewer, we run the window using a main method. Instead of main, we just run the program. We just see now what I do here is that create a constructor. So AWT demo is a constructor, done. And another one is straight away what I say, public static void main. First thing, the class which you create should be some kind of a container type, because in order to place the components for a particular class, the class should be some kind of container. So I can say, if you want to say, see here, so Java p space Java dot AWT dot say frame. So frame is a class. Frame is a class which is of what type? A class of AWT, and which is subclass of a menu container. Of course, if we keep on going, we have different number of classes. So frame is a subclass of container. Same manner, we can even take AWT dot say window. See, a window is again a subclass. A window is an subclass of container, and window is an superclass of what? As container is superclass of window, and window is superclass of frame. As shown you again, as shown you the diagram representation of that. Once look at again. So this is the superclass of all the containers, and there are two containers. One is window and panel. So frame is an subclass of window. Okay, now we just try to write the logic with the help of that, and we say here extends frame. So we just set a frame creation here. The next immediate part is as we need to see the frame here. The frame will have a frame size. Frame has few properties. What are the properties of frame? Just identify here what different properties I have to apply for the frame is very important one. We have to make a note of those things. One kind of property we have to work on frame is frame has something like title. Title is the first part of frame. The second important part of frame is we should need to give the frame size. I'm looking for that particular method here. We have something called set size. I just try to search here, edit and say find set size. Okay, I didn't find here. Maybe I could find this maybe in my say container or a window. If you want me to show, I'll show that in window if possible. Maybe set size. So when we open the window here, once check the window, what does it contains? So java dot awl dot window. Let us see whether in window we can find that particular set size. See here, yes, we have set size contains two parameters. One is int and int, that is called size of a window. What is the height of the window and width of the window? And very important next is set visibility, whether we have to say a window is to be visible or not. And the foremost important thing is we should need to say a layout. Okay, of course we can find this set layout method maybe in the frame itself. We can see it here. Otherwise, in any one of the child classes we can find that, or super classes. So we should need to focus mainly on four important methods. What are those? One is a frame will have a title. So title is very important, size is very important, layout is very important, and visibility is important. These four will create a window easily. So how to create that? Now my frame is resided in a class called AWT demo. Now create an object for that. Simply say AWT demo space object. So AD example, say new AWT demo. Now try to apply the title, size, visibility and layout. So AD dot set title, say a demo frame. I just want to write a demo frame. Same as AD dot set size. Size contains two parameters. One is height and another one is width. And AD dot set visible. Do you want to visible this particular window? Say true. And AD dot set layout. We just keep the currently layout as null because layout is separate kind of concept which explains about how the component should be placed in what kind of manner. Okay, so we'll see that in another class. Currently we focus on to display the window. Done. A simple frame. I did not write anything in this constructor. I left empty. Currently I am not bothering about the components. I am just bothering about displaying of a frame. So I just said class name extends frame. I took a constructor and a main method. Inside the main method I am just giving the properties of a frame. The properties of the frame are title, size, layout and visibility. So first create an object for this AWT demo. This is child class of frame. So automatically we are implementing what here? Frame. So AD is the object of this and AD dot set title, AD dot set size, visibility, layout. Once try to run this program. So Java C space AWT demo dot Java. It shows some kind of error here. Maybe the thing is I did not kept properly the D as small letter. So keep this as capital letter. Maybe it is fine now. Compile that, it goes good, and say run. Simply say AWT demo. Like applet, we doesn't require any kind of applet viewer here because applet viewer will run in a browser. Means applet runs on browser. Rather, frame will run on a window. Hence, frame doesn't require any kind of a third-party kind of plugin which runs. Hence, directly I can run that. So AWT demo, run that. See, fantastic. We have got small window. A window is created here with a 500 size, and observe we have a title here called demo frame, and a window has a borders, and of course currently I did not do any layout here. Now first thing, you just try to close this window. See how wonder the window is not closing. The main reason behind that is to close a window I should need to write an event to close, or I should need to write a logic to close the window. Now it's a harder task for me to close this window. So I'll try to close this window forcibly to say Control C. I just close the window for a while. The reason behind that is a window is created, but the window doesn't have any kind of methods which invoke on that. So the methods which window has are, so java p space java dot awt dot event dot window listener. See, this is a window listener. Like earlier class, if we have discussed the event delegation model. In that listeners concept, these are all the different methods which contains on a window. One is window opened, window closing, window closed, window iconified, window de-iconified, window activated, deactivated. So in these methods we have to use a method called closing, window closing, to close the window. Without using this method I cannot close the window. Now there comes a question that how to use this particular window listener. We already have idea about this, how to use a listener. We have few steps. First thing is we have to add the listener. So add window listener of this. So what is the next step? This is step 1, right? Step 1 is to create a listener. Step 2 is we have to implement. So what I say, implements window listener. This is step 2. Once we implement a listener, obviously we get multiple errors because a listener is an interface, hence interface contains abstract methods. All these abstract methods are to be overridden. So how to override them? Directly we just try to keep all these methods used here. We just try to go with this. So public void window closed of what event? Window event. Okay, that's likewise you just copy and paste like this for how many number of times. See up to what extent you want, you can do that. So window closing and window iconified and window de-iconified and window activated and window deactivated. Done. Now if you try to compile the program, we may see that okay, we didn't get another one called window open. Okay, also keep another kind of method here called window open and window open. Done. Now compile the program. I think there is some kind of problem that says I did not see spelling is wrong. De-iconified somewhere. D small letter. Okay, D small letter. Done. Compile this again. I think no errors now because I have overridden all the methods. But which method I want to use here? I just want to use a method called window closing, which can close the window. So how to close the window? Simply inside this we can simply say a method called as dispose. Dispose is a method which is used to close the window. Okay, just run the program again and AWT demo. Now open the frame. The frame is open. Now try to close the frame. The frame is closed. Again, if you run that and see, a frame can be closed. Earlier frame is not closed because I did not write this logic. Again, this is a good example for viewers who want to work on understand AWT. So AWT is an kind of framework which works on either window or an panel. So to close the window, we have given a title, size, visibility, layout, but we did not give the property for window closing. Hence we need to extend a frame and we need to implement the window listener. First step is we need to add the listener. Second step is we need to implement the listener. Third step is we have to override all the methods, and fourth step is we need to perform the action using the event object. We call window as the event source. Okay, I already said earlier we have totally three important things: event source, event listener, event object. Event source is window, event listener is window listener, and event object is window object, window event. So now if you think about what are the uses of all the other methods, we have just not used them properly, we have left them, resources are unworthy here, hence we need to optimize the logic. To optimize that, I already said that we need to use something called adapters. So adapters can play a major role in doing all these things. So how to use adapters is, we can remove this and we can use adapters in two ways. One is I can use adapters by creating an inner class, and the one is I can use anonymous anonymous inner class. So we'll see these two, inner class and anonymous inner class, to have some kind of idea about how to do that anonymous inner class. Okay, so now simply here I have removed this. Now directly I can say here add window listener of, if you take second thing called anonymous inner class, I just remove all these things. Directly I say new window listener of, instead of this, see, keep it like this, semicolon, new window listener of, instead of this, what I say here, new window adapter. If you want, you can watch it here, say java p space java.awt dot, what is that, window adapter. See, window adapter, oh sorry, I need to use AWT dot event dot start. Now see, I have all the methods again the same as listener, but all these are not abstract methods, mind you, these are all non-abstract methods. If you watch the same thing using window listener, you can now see the difference. See, all these are the non-abstract methods, and all the same methods they have what, abstract methods. Hence, and again see, window adapter is an class. Which class? Abstract class. And window listener is an interface. So interface contains all abstract methods which are need to be overridden. And an abstract class may contain both abstract methods and non-abstract methods. Hence, now I want to use something called window adapter. Window adapter can be used in two ways. One is by inner class or anonymous inner class. This is called anonymous type. So new window adapter, keep brackets here and open the object here. This is the way how to create inner class. See, this is a method. I am writing an inner class inside this method. If you cut this, see, if you cut this is a simple method. Inside that, what I'm saying here, new window adapter, constructor open, bracket and close. Now inside this, our method say public void window closing, and I say window event space w. See, now I have just sorted out with a single method, simple single method called window closing. I did not took all these bloody methods. I just took only one method, which is a non-abstract now, since I use window adapter. Hence inside this again same work, what I say here, dispose, close, compile the program and run the program. We got a frame and close the frame. Done. This is something called anonymous inner class. Anonymous is nothing but nameless object. This is a nameless object. Directly I'm saying what? New. Generally we create object as like this, right? So example, let's say apple space ap equals to new apple. Other way we can create anonymously as saying that new apple directly, since we want to create only one object. If you want to create multiple objects, you have to use surely class space object equals to new constructor. This is one type of anonymous inner class. And the type is, we can create inner class separately in this class. So this is a class, a constructor, main method, we create inner class. Say example like class WAP. I just want to create my own class called WindowAdapter class. WAP extends WindowAdapter. Now inside this, write a simple method, say public void window closing of window event space object. Inside this, you just say again same dispose. Now this is a separate class I have created. This class is called as inner class. Now again same procedure. First step is add the listener. Add window listener of what is the class name? WAP. So directly say that new WAP, done. This is something like inner class. The earlier one what I said is anonymous inner class. This is an new WAP is what? WAP is an object for this class. Okay, just again compile, again run. The window is opened and now we can close the window. So this is an example of creation of an window, and how to create window in different ways by using say adding the objects like this. We can even create all these things inside a constructor also. Example, if I remove all these things, directly I can remove this and I can keep inside a constructor, and now AD is not required. Directly say set title, set visible, set size and set layout. Now it doesn't require anything inside this. I can create all these things inside a main method using an object of that class, or I can directly write inside an constructor. If you again compile and run the program, you could be able to see the same one, not anything which is changing. See, same, close that, done. A best example for adapter class, listener class, inner class, anonymous inner class, how to create a frame, how to set the properties to the frame, title, size, visibility, layout, and how to add the window. This code now will be always we have to use for every program we do in the AWT, because every time I should need to close my window sustainably without closing the window forcibly. Hence this is a simple example of AWT demo. Hope you enjoy the class, and we try to go with another class which explains you about how to use the components and how to apply the components on a frame, and how the components can play a major role in creating a frame. Thank you one and all.